Kevin Krueger here in Miami's Coconut Grove at the Nucleus Hub. On my hump days, I like to share with some fellow professionals, my friend Tyler Kelley.
Hello.
We met probably 9 years ago when I moved here we met through Venture Cafe. We were active and HQ here, down filming for your marketing business, Slam.
That's it.
Tyler Kelley, welcome back to Miami.
Thank you.
I think today is your first real visit to Coconut Grove. We haven't ventured out there yet, but we'll get out on the main. North Miami?
Yeah, we're headed to North Miami Beach.
Got you. Which
Bal
is different
Harbor.
than North Miami.
Yeah.
Bal Harbor is definitely different than all of that, yeah.
Yeah, not quite north, but it's there.
Well, let's get
Right.
into it.
Is it more? It's
Uh,
North Beach.
So I live in Miami Beach, which is a barrier island, technically 7 miles in our municipality, and abutting that is the infamous, or rather famous, Surfside. People now know the condo collapse from 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So Bal Harbor is just above that,
Okay.
and those are it's famous for luxury shopping and dining. So in fact, the young lady that I was standing next to this morning at our Chamber of Commerce, Cafecito with a cop, when in Miami it's Cafecito, not just generic Joe. Her family built out the Bal Harbor shops.
Oh, wow.
I believe. I'm pretty sure that, we were talking about family offices on our commute over, and both of us are new to what is a family office. And I do commercial real estate brokerage, and a lot of them invest into real estate development, so it's a direction I'm going as well. So hitting all angles here, Coconut Grove is just south of Miami proper, downtown Brickell, if that's the core. Our county of Miami-Dade is intersected as a latitude that is called Flagler Street. Henry Flagler, the railroad developer we talked about on the drive over. Flagler's the meridian line effectively for the county. And North Miami Beach is not North Miami. It's also not. So what brings you back, Tyler? What brings you back to the Miami vicinity?
Well, your business, so you said 9 years ago. Yeah, so we came down in 2016 is when we opened.
Yeah.
And this was before the great migration, the East Coast migration to Miami.
Right.
Which, now everyone's like, man, people are everywhere.
Don't forget the Californians we get. But yes,
Yeah,
a lot more New York.
A lot more New Yorkers,
Like
just out of the blue.
Miami is already, it's nicknamed the sixth borough. In fact, a friend of mine, Ronnie G, shout out, has a cool TV show he's been producing the last year called The Sixth Borough. And he interviews influential migrants from New York. So the yuppies from Manhattan now choosing Miami year-round, either to build their brands or their business. And you're a brand specialist. That's some of what I figured we could talk about. But yeah, it's definitely, I referenced the book earlier, if I may, while we're on the topic.
Yeah.
And step back to Overtown. You mentioned your office in a flex space in Overtown, which is a heart of our city. Destroyed like much of America. It was a vibrant black community until the interstate highway systems in the 60s that Eisenhower had done nationwide. In the meantime, it is gentrifying a bit, and some for the better, some for the worse, right? But my alma mater, Babson College, has a provost, which is like a dean. It's a business school, and he wrote a book, he co-authored Emerging Global Cities, and Miami is one of his 3. Dubai and Singapore being the others.
Cool.
So
is he from Miami?
No, he is. I think he's Argentinian.
Okay.
So not only has Miami attracted affluence and talent, professional talent from, let's say, Manhattan, or as we were talking, California, the tech industry, which you and I witnessed was burgeoning a decade ago. It's here. Crypto is an example. We're supposedly the crypto capital of the world. But look, as I'm a straight shooter sometimes and a little subversive in my conversation. So when I meet folks from Chicago, New York, California, I will say, oh, you're a political... If they've moved here in the last 5 years, I just challenge them because they might be asleep at their why. Everyone's like, oh, why did you move? What job? Or who'd you marry? Or whatever it is, right? I'll just say, oh, you're a political refugee. Oh, no, I moved here for the tax benefit. Okay, so you're a political refugee. No, I moved here because of violence in my cities. All right, well, we got safe streets. So it's what you vote upon in some of these cities that are unfortunately collapsing. Being a competitive Bostonian in the sports world, I'm accustomed to like beat LA and top rival with New York and but I've also recognized the last few years of living in Miami now and being a commercial real estate agent, which is serving headquarters, expansion or move within the county or attraction from other cities. America needs all of our 50 plus cities to elevate. We need the rising tides.
Yeah. What's
attracted Miami so much is our tax-free status of on income tax. We were talking about some of the, we're the one state with commercial real estate tax. So isn't that interesting? Double taxation.
Yeah.
And thankfully our state legislature, which is pro-business friendly, dropped that 5% commercial real estate. So you pay a lease, it's not just $10,000, but it's $650 extra because you got a county, so at least we got rid of the state. I think the municipalities are getting rid of it too. So bouncing on all topics, you are from the center of America, and you serve clientele nationwide.
Globally, yeah.
And globally.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Tell me about Slam and what year you got into it, why you chose Miami as a satellite HQ nearly a decade ago, and how is business and the marketing of small business and medium-sized businesses, I think, your target. Tell us about all of that.
Wow, where do I start?
What year was Slam founded?
So Slam was founded in 2014. And I remember that because my daughter was so the company before Slam was called Conversion Coach, not important, but essentially that was me. I started doing what was called conversion rate optimization, which is essentially the converting visitors to your website for whatever the goal was. So if it's buying a product or submitting a form, whatever that is, there's a science behind it, psychology, in it, color psychology, messaging, all of it. Back in those days, with that business, you'd get a call from an SEO guy and like, I'm going to bring 1 million people to your site tomorrow, but if they don't convert, then you're just wasting a ton of money. So, so that's where that came from, and I was eventually able to. This was my second business. First one failed terribly.
The conversion business. The previous one we're not going to bother with.
Yeah, it's not even on my resume.
I always want to have a podcast about train wrecks of business.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was just so my first business was a mortgage bank. And I'd always done digital marketing, so I was early to the digital marketing in that industry. But we opened up in 2007. So, 2008,
not
2009.
a good timing for those that missed the mortgage crisis. Wow. And it affected the real estate, obviously, directly related to financing real estate.
And I didn't go back to that industry. But when I was able to finally, get back on my feet, went back to just essentially what my roots were, because I've been doing digital marketing since 1999, and 1998 is when Google came out. So I've kind of just been there the whole time,
An OG.
An
original Googler.
Yes. And conversion rate optimization, that business, I was able to collect some clients. So I did it right this time, meaning I had a job, and it's like when I double my income, then I'll step out on my own. So I was able to double my income, step out on my own, and then eventually I was able to hire my wife, hire my brother,
Before or after the marriage?
After. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, that's the right question. Everyone's
Yeah.
begging to know. It's not easy to work with family.
No, but we've done it. We've done it right.
And I tease too, especially romantic family. But I tease when I see couples that are working together in their business. I encourage the couple that works together, works together. Or even fitness. I use more often. A couple that those that work out together. So
yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, and you got a lovely family. I think it's 3 children.
Yep.
That I've met a couple times. And shout out to the kids back in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's basketball season. We're all big Heat fans.
You converted them to Heat because St. Louis lost
St. Louis
his team
doesn't have a team
60 years ago.
Yeah, I guess technically the Atlanta Hawks used to be the St. Louis
That's
Hawks.
right. That's what it was. Yeah.
But I don't think there's basketball coming back to St. Louis. But
No.
in any event, we like to get down here. I have a lot of friends who have season tickets. So,
Right.
yeah.
You started in '99. What age?
I don't have to reveal. I guess I would have been 20 because I was born in '79.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that business, funny story, was a mobile disc jockey business. So I was the fraternity DJ, and then I was the club DJ, and I was like, you know what? Let's take my girlfriend, who's my wife now. I was like, we'd probably make some money on the weekends doing this. So it's like, okay, cool. So I bought a bunch of equipment. I was also like the MP3 like CD burner on campus. Yeah. So I had like every song you could think of.
And that's where you got some of this, introduction to little tech and hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to do what you do now. Isn't that interesting? Because I feel like my history too, like some of your personal passions then applied into your creative businesses. I created a streetwear brand as my second career, for instance. And I would credit my middle school fashionista sense for T-shirts, hats, and sneakers as, getting me there. And you were a DJ. No wonder you're so cool.
Oh, I love music. I've been playing around with AI music right now. That's a whole other story. But yeah, so I bought maybe like $3,000 in equipment, which for a college kid was a lot. That was maxed out my credit cards. Yeah.
That's like 10,000 now, probably.
Or more, yeah. But back then, everything was super heavy. Mobile DJs now, like everything's so light.
Yeah.
You can just take
my DJ buddy, I call, shout out to Seth Lowry, my favorite local button pusher.
Okay, yeah.
Just kidding, y'all. I went to DJ Diplo's 5K on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Those that know Diplo,
Yeah.
I don't. We're Gen X, but it's not really. I'm old school DJ. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like DJ fan, like Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, I
Master
see.
J.
I never did the scratching. I was more on the EDM front. Yeah. But but the crazy thing about maxing out your credit cards and then trying to call the Yellow Pages to get an ad is I didn't realize how expensive they were.
Our audience might need to know, what are Yellow Pages?
Yeah. Well, that was the telephone book back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ad was $500, and I was like, oh, yeah, I don't have $500. All
right.
Hung up the phone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? But I have heard about websites, so I just taught myself how to build one.
Right.
Learned SEO. It was perfect timing when Google had just come out the year before, so we got a lot of business.
You were an early adopter and pioneer.
Yeah.
That's great, man. As we were driving over, I was describing some of my second career was this streetwear brand, which was a cottage industry, literally shirts sold on the street outside of Fenway Park, Boston Garden. Not too many cities could sustain a market like that. But this is an old East Coast sports city that's got its stadiums in the heart of the city where there's been vendors and peddlers. You had this little $62 state peddler's license that permitted us to be out there. And you could make a killing for the night. You might sell $1,000 worth of shirts. You might sell $100 of shirts. Depends if the team wins.
Yeah.
Loses, what the weather is, all that stuff, the competition. So my predecessors, and I met a gentleman through like weekend events. I would go and vend, I'd have a whole booth because the rabid Boston sports fan, like they support it and they see something creative in it. We were talking about branding.
Yeah.
I named my company after my customers, Superfans with the funny Boston accent, so Superfan Streetwear. And one day, I think I'm at a car show or something like that, a home show. Like just, again, Bostonians, they'll buy cool sports stuff anywhere. And this guy next to me, he hears my story. He's like, I used to sell T-shirts outside Fenway Park in 1978 when he was in high school. And he says that he also started a Vermont flannel company by 1980. LL Bean wanted to buy him out.
I've heard of the Vermont flannel.
Have you really?
Yeah.
So that founder, Mark Baker, shout out, lived in Brookline, which is the wedge of the circle of Boston that never got annexed. Okay. He would just take the train in like a mile or whatever. And he told me one of the fun stories, and I love history, and the history of Google '98. You said, your time frame, and my efforts and his efforts. There's a famous Hall of Fame baseball player, left fielder. The Red Sox had a string of left fielders that manned, in front of the Green Monster Wall for like 15-year careers or longer. 23 years for Carl Yastrzemski. Ted Williams was there. Manny Ramirez. Jim Rice. So most of them should be Hall of Fame. Manny did steroids, but Carl Yastrzemski struggled to get to his 3,000th hit. That's a magic number in baseball. And because he's struggling, well, my friend Mark in 1983, I think it was, showed up the whole week selling I Saw Yaz's 3000th hit T-shirts outside the stage. Just a little cheapy. Like, people want the I was there merch. Yeah. You go to Paris and you buy the Eiffel Tower statue or the T-shirt. I once did a shirt that, making fun of that whole vibe was I was making fun of my competitors who really weren't designed. They did words on a shirt where I had like some designs where we were talking about I would borrow themes from pop culture and apply them into the sports market. But I did simple words on a shirt that said, went to Fenway and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. It's not original. It's been around the tourist market around the world for decades. But I sold mine for $1.98. So that our shirts on the market out in the street were like $10 to $20. Okay. But I wanted to have the conversation with my customer base and be like, because my street competitors were knocking my products off. And I wanted my customers to buy original, creative, colorful, smart designs, and I'd give them 2 cents back verbally. And I'd say, why don't you buy original? So that's some offline marketing and branding. And yeah, my guy Mark, he didn't sell out Vermont flannel. Fast forward years later, he helped me get set up at the Massachusetts State Fair, or for New England, the Big E. Okay. We're so small and less rural than Missouri, let's say. We put all 6 states together, New England States Exposition. And I had these really smart Massachusetts pride themes with the highway street signs and local colors and local colloquial phrases on the back. And I was pushing that to become like the next I Heart New York concept, which was done in the 70s, or Virginia is for lovers. And I was trying to build my brand that way from the grassroots instead of it being state. It's a tough business. It's in apparel or lugging DJ equipment, whatever it is, Yeah. But so there's a little history back on me building my brand, and you shared a bit of your history, and you named it SLAM. Is that an acronym? Or?
It's not. It's not,
so why SLAM, and then who's your customer base and your favorite? Tell me who your favorite customer is.
Favorite customer, yeah.
But why SLAM, and what's the brand behind SLAM?
So, like, we just like to say that we make an impact, but really the name came before the tagline.
Okay.
And part of just, if you've ever tried to come up with a company name or a brand name, there's so many different aspects that you have to consider, including, like, is the domain name available?
Yep.
Is this copyrighted or trademarked? So there's all these, and Slam Agency was available, so we went with it. I had out of the DJ business, I then turned into like a wedding directory business pre the Knot, and pre Wedding Wire and all these like large national sites, and where I would have a local wedding directory because it was so hard to find wedding vendors back then. Which we eventually sold advertising on. But one of those wedding directories in one of those cities, the name was trademarked, and so just going through that process of fighting through that was a good learning lesson too. So
I had a lot of
all these
IP
different
protections
experiences along the way.
Yeah, as we said, borrowing art is some of the best artists. So I would borrow concepts from the like the Massachusetts highway sign or whatever. But more often than not, I was getting knocked off, and I felt like that's one reason why I got out of the business, because my competitors are knocking me off online, literally on the streets, on the shelves I would wholesale to, and it's just not fun. I want to be creative and design a brand named after But coincidentally, Seth Lowry, second shout out, the DJ I mentioned, is pushing buttons. About 6 years ago, he created his slam. It's a Seth Lowry Artist Management.
Interesting.
So, because he would book DJs, we had the EDM festival in March. I forgot what, Ultra Music Festival.
Yeah.
And a few other things. But he would book other DJs under his slam.
Interesting. Yeah. I know
But
Pitbull has a slam too.
You're global. What's your furthest reach? Where on the other side of the world, down under, or what have you?
Well, I'm proud to say we have clients in Dubai and in the United Arab Emirates.
Third emerging city.
Yeah.
Singapore being the third.
It's an
Miami
amazing.
the first.
Wow, Miami in the company of Singapore and.
Does it
Dubai.
get you a chance
awesome.
to? Are you visiting them, or are you doing that work remotely?
So yeah, all the work we do outside of when we take it on ourselves to do shoots, video or photo shoots, we do remotely, right? So everything's on a computer. So this particular client, she is the largest psychiatrist office in the Middle East, the second largest. I'm sorry. And
that's great. Something to strive for, as we know. Because sometimes you want to be number two.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think Tyler might know better than me, but I think she probably has at this point 30 or 40 psychiatrists in the office, maybe more, but definitely growing. But the work that we do for them, we started in social media. We also do podcasts. We do some advertising. It took probably 6 months to learn that market, because there's the culture is just completely different than here.
Yeah, I imagine. Right? I've never heard about the Middle East with psychology. My dad's a psychologist, research psychologist.
Yeah. But we've been their agency for probably going on 6 years, and I've never met her in person.
Right.
But everything's been online,
right.
And it's
an expensive trip at somebody's expense.
Yeah.
It should be hers, but it's folded in.
But I have some friends in Dubai as well, so at some point, I definitely will.
Miami and Dubai already have business connections that I've witnessed a bit in participating with our local Realtors Association. Tends to travel there with the contingency of leaders and creating synergies. A lot of times it's the cash is fluid. And sometimes the investors want to be where the next buildup is. So I haven't paid that much of attention to it, because my commercial real estate brokerage tends to be tenant representation. Through Dade, Broward, and beyond, as I call it. And as retail as well. It's like my fun side. Also the biggest pain in the ass. Retail's risky.
Yeah.
It's very consumer driven. Imagine 2020 lockdown and you're shipping. And so all interesting work. Who's your favorite client at Slam?
They're all my favorites.
I know, that's why I asked that. Like, who's your favorite kid? Give me an example though of, let's say, a favorite client or project, or maybe one that's kind of rinse or repeat for either one. Like your favorite challenge, or one you really want to help propel forward, whichever.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about some Miami clients. So generally, like when you think of a marketing or advertising agency, generally that company is going to focus on, well, first of all, like when you hear those words, like it can mean anything. It's very rare that I run into someone that does what we do.
You're talking about marketing agencies. Yeah, I wanted to ask that too. That was kind of my number one question. I figure our audience, like we were saying, like I met a PR agent last week and don't particularly, I'm not at a point where I need that. I could see in the future, if I build up my business or my career or my personal brand, maybe you need some of that. But like, what is this decade's modern marketing agency do within the industry, and then for that particular client? Like, how are you an adjunctive exec to these companies?
So, marketing and advertising agencies traditionally would work on a project basis, meaning like they're always like hitting the streets trying to make that next sale. A lot of times it's like the bigger the logo, the more street cred that they have and the ability to go get the next big logo. We've never worked with the big logos. I mean, we have a few big logos, but it's more about the small and medium-sized business. Our approach as an agency is that for those companies that don't have a marketing or creative function in-house, which that means like marketing strategy and advertising and web and digital, but it also means video, social, graphic design, photography. There's a lot of the creative arts, if you will, that if you really wanted to get that function in-house, you're going to have to hire at a minimum 2 to 3 people and hope that they have multiple talents. But what most companies do when the founder or even a nonprofit, the executive director, when they start getting to a point to where they can't do it themselves anymore, even with AI, that can do a lot, and in the future to be able to do a lot more, like you still have to be the one doing it.
And sign off and say, that's the look.
I mean, so I don't think that it's super appealing, even though if AI could do everything, for one person to be managing all of that.
Right.
Because like they're going to be working all the time, so. Right. So what we do is we provide that function for companies or organizations that don't have that in-house, and we do it at a flat monthly rate, and they get everything that we have to offer. And our differentiator is essentially that we also have that marketing strategy experience,
right,
to be able to know what works and what doesn't, right, in certain markets. So my favorite client, or some Miami clients, we work with. We're here this week to see Kasbrä. Kasbrä is a new meal prep service, which is coming out.
Feeding me lunch today. Thank you, Kasbrä. Out of Sunrise, Florida?
They service the entire South Florida area. Right. They have a kitchen in Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise area.
Right. For those that don't know, that's where the Florida Panthers hockey, Stanley, 2-time back-to-back champion.
Yes.
I'm more of a Boston Bruins fan, but this is the city that's generating the most amount of sports attention the last, or at least this decade.
Yeah.
Which is at the National Football Championship, for instance, down the street at Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
So they're serving the 3 counties of South Florida, Palm Beach. Are they also serving, because they're a straight shot to Fort Myers, Naples? Are they serving West Coast?
It's a great question. I don't know off the top of my head. I think they will eventually expand. Right now, so we came down to shoot a commercial. Lots of really good video of food and how it's being prepped, and it's amazing because it's a clean food. It's clean preparation, so no preservatives. Yeah. And it's delivered weekly, so however many meals you get to select on the website what you want. The difference between like the national companies that do it, this is local, so Mediterranean diet's a big thing because it's clean eating. Doesn't feel like dieting, like you get filled up. I went to a place called Motec the other night. Same concept, like beautiful food, and it fills you up even though you don't eat a bunch of it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. They're doing some cool stuff. So I think that right now our advertising campaign is going to focus on Brickell, Midtown, Edgewater, Wynwood, like the professional areas.
Right.
But then, as that proof of concept is proven, then we'll push out to other areas.
Good. So we're going to see more of you in Miami, I hope.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And this is a good time of year to be here.
It is.
We have a tropical rain storm going on. Not storm, but like it's actually refreshing when you live here. Like I welcome the rain. It gives us pause to it's a good cleaning day, sleep a day, like side work, whatever. You usually feel guilty if you're not. You look outside your office, it's sunny and everyone's playing. Especially depends where you live, but like it's a good time to be here. The rest of the country is under some snow up north, or I don't know what the weather's like right now. It's a little more temperate in St. Louis than it is. Like,
it's pretty cold right now.
Yeah. Okay. I figured as much. Yeah. Well, happy to have you here. What would be your ask from the Miami business community? How can this, whatever network you've already built or you're attracting, the rest of this decade? We're at the beginning of 2026, or we're halfway through the decade. What can Miami do for SLAM and its network of clients?
Yeah, great question. I think that the thing to keep in mind when you're starting a business, when you got a business that shows promise and then you're doing all the jobs, the thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to necessarily hire for all of the things that you might need when it comes to,
bookkeeping, accounting.
Definitely,
financial analysis.
I think the future really is fractional. I do some fractional CMO work as well, but the future is fractional. So I think the days of going and hiring like a marketing director or a CMO as like your first hire is probably beyond us, and that's because that person's also going to need a team. Like
right.
It's one person can't do it all. But if you're going to spend $120,000 on a role, like you have that amount of money put aside, rather than doing one hire, like hire a whole team. So it's just about getting the word out that these things exist. And we make it easy for our clients because we don't do long-term contracts, so we keep it month to month. It makes it easy for them to give us a try, and then once they do, they're like, "Oh wow, this is awesome," and they keep it going.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Good, man. Well, I know you're gonna be going to dinner in North Miami Beach or North Beach, Bal Harbor.
Yeah,
Bal Harbor,
yeah.
right?
We were gonna go to.
Hopefully I get to meet him soon.
Yeah, we were gonna go to a sushi spot, but they didn't have any reservations for us, so we're going to a different one at Bal Harbor, or right outside of it. But well, the first one sounded really interesting.
If we can, I think you're not going to spoil your appetite. I hope if we indulge in your client's lunch.
Not at all.
What's the brand name of the
Kasbrä?
Kasbrä.
Yeah.
I'm ready for lunch, and then I'd like to drive you a little bit through Coconut Grove before we part ways. And
for sure. Yeah.
So signing off here from Nucleus Hub podcast studios. Right in the heart of the Grove, which is where we have our City of Miami's City Hall, a few blocks. So I'll drive you over there and show you that, and then we'll be on our way and get you back to St. Louis, I guess, Friday or Saturday, and you'll be back hopefully this winter.
Yeah, there'll be some winter from what I hear.
Maybe with the family this time.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler.
Awesome, brother.
Thank you so much.
You.